Have you ever really stopped to wonder what cancer is, at a deep cellular level? It's this huge, kind of scary topic, right? But today, we're going to break it all down. We'll look at how it starts, what those key terms really mean, and importantly, how modern medicine is fighting back. The whole story of cancer, it really boils down to this one simple question. It all kicks off when a single, solitary cell decides to stop playing by the rules that keep our bodies running smoothly. Okay, so let's dive right in. We're going to zoom way, way in, down to the microscopic level to see exactly how that happens. This is the very first chapter of the story, a tiny mistake that can have massive consequences. So imagine your body is this bustling city, right? Made up of trillions of tiny citizens, and those are your cells. Every single one has a job to do. They grow, they divide, they get replaced, and the whole thing is usually run with perfect clockwork precision. So, what messes up this perfectly run city? Well, that's where things called carcinogens come in. Think of them as outside troublemakers, things like the chemicals in cigarette smoke, or even too much sun. They can sneak in and damage a cell's DNA, which is basically its instruction manual. And that damage, that's the first critical mistake. And that one mistake, it can kick off a crazy chain reaction. See, a healthy cell knows when to stop dividing. But once its DNA is damaged, that off switch can break. The cell just keeps dividing and dividing without any control until you've got a whole clump of them. And that clump is what we call a tumor. But here's the thing, not all tumors are the same. And this is where we get to a really, really important distinction. It's the difference between a problem and a serious problem. Okay, so what's the big difference? Well, think of a benign tumor, like a problem that's contained. It grows, but it stays put. A malignant tumor, on the other hand, that's cancer. It's an invader. It doesn't respect any boundaries, and most importantly, it can spread. That ability to spread is what makes it so dangerous. So how does it actually spread? There's a word for it, metastasis. This is where things get really serious. Cancer cells basically break off from the original tumor and hop onto the body's superhighways, the bloodstream or the lymph system. By traveling these routes, they can start new tumors in totally different parts of the body. But look, this isn't just a story about a problem. It's also a story about the fight. For decades, scientists and doctors have been developing some seriously powerful ways to strike back against this disease. Let's take a look at the toolkit they've built. When we talk about the doctor's toolkit, there are three classic heavy hitters that form the foundation of cancer treatment: surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation therapy. Each one is a different strategy for attacking the same enemy. First up, surgery. This is about as direct as it gets, right? You literally cut the problem out. And for cancers that are caught early, before they've had a chance to spread, sometimes surgery alone can be a complete cure. Then you've got chemotherapy, which takes a totally different approach. It's a systemic treatment, meaning powerful drugs travel through your entire bloodstream to hunt down and kill any fast-growing cells. The tricky part is, it can sometimes affect healthy fast-growing cells too, like your hair follicles, which is why side effects can happen. And finally, there's radiation. This one is all about precision. Doctors use these super high-energy beams, kind of like focused X-rays, and aim them right at the tumor. The goal is to scramble the cancer cell's DNA so they can't grow anymore, all while trying to leave the healthy tissue around them alone. Okay, so that's the classic toolkit. But what's next? Well, the good news is the story is far from over. In fact, things are moving faster than ever, and there's a lot of hope on the horizon. And this is something that is so important to remember. You hear the word cancer and it's terrifying, but it's not always a death sentence, not by a long shot. Thanks to treatments like these, and especially because of early detection, many people recover and go on to live long, healthy lives. And the new stuff coming out? It's mind-blowing. We're talking about a whole new wave of treatments like immunotherapy, and get this, the idea here is revolutionary. Instead of using external forces to kill the cancer, we're learning how to train your own body's immune system to recognize and destroy it. How cool is that? All right, so let's do a quick recap. What have we learned? The whole thing starts with a tiny bit of damage to our DNA. A malignant tumor is the one we call cancer. A benign one isn't. And that cancer can spread through metastasis. But we have these powerful ways to fight back: surgery, chemo, and radiation. Which really leaves us with this big, exciting question. With science moving at this incredible pace, from personalized medicine to these new immunotherapies, what is the next big breakthrough going to be?
The fight is definitely not over, but man, the future is looking brighter all the time.